The drama escalated when Costner's contract became a moving target. Originally signed for seasons 5, 6, and 7, the studio renegotiated, splitting season 5 into parts A and B with no guarantees for a 6th season. "I made a contract for 3 seasons," Costner explained, "but they kept shifting the gaps. They weren't able to stick to anything." Despite his efforts to juggle his film project Horizon around Yellowstone, the shifting schedule made it impossible. Silence from the production team only deepened the rift. Costner, who had initially committed to just 1 season but extended through 4, felt abandoned. "Why don't you stick up for me?" he questioned. "I went and sold this thing for you. I gave them everything they asked for, and they imploded." Costner's frustration boiled over when the studio shut down production for over a year, leaving him in limbo. "I didn't work for 14 months, he shared. "I told them, I can't ever go through that again. All I did was protect myself." Meanwhile, Paramount assured fans that Yellowstone would conclude by November 2024 with a spin-off starring Matthew McConaughey. But according to Costner, the promises were built on shaky ground. Scripts for the second half of season 5 didn't even exist. "No, I didn't shoot 5B. There was no script. And then things imploded," he said. Costner recalled leaving his film early to accommodate Yellowstone, only to find the production wasn't ready. "I gave them what they needed to finish 8 episodes," he said, regretting that fans didn't get the 10 they were expecting. The breaking point came when the studio spun the narrative against him. "I told them, if you need me for a week to kill me off, I'll do it. I didn't even have that week to give, but I offered." And then they turned it into, Costner only wanted to work a week. In the end, Costner's frustration wasn't just about contracts or schedules. It was about loyalty. "I made Yellowstone my priority," he said, "and they didn't stick up for me. That's the truth." Yikes! Yep, there's no way Sheridan and Costner are going to send each other Christmas greetings anytime soon, especially after how the allegedly vindictive show creator took John Dutton off the screen. The fate of John Dutton. The opening episode of Yellowstone Season 5B made one thing crystal clear. Kevin Costner's messy exit from the show wasn't going to spare his character John Dutton from a brutal end. In the very first moments of Season 5B, the governor met an unceremonious death in a staged suicide. Shot in the head in a bathroom. Costner didn't film the scene himself. His stunt double handled the grim task, sparing viewers from anything too graphic. But later in the episode, Dutton's lifeless blue body was shown in painful detail as the coroner flipped him over and re-examined the case. It felt like CSI Montana with a heavy dose of drama. The flashback to Dutton's death painted a chilling picture. 3 masked professionals stormed into the sleeping governor's room, drugged him, dragged him into the bathroom, and staged the whole thing, gun in hand. The scene was tense, but Dutton didn't say a word. Conveniently, since Costner wasn't on set. Meanwhile, the show shifted focus to Casey Dutton, who immediately smelled foul play. Flashing his badge as the Montana Livestock Association Commissioner, Casey convinced the coroner, Dr. Everly, to take another look. His persistence paid off. This wasn't suicide. It was murder. With that revelation, the case blew wide open, and the FBI and ATF launched a homicide investigation. But Casey and Beth already had their suspects in mind. Their adopted brother, Jamie Dutton, had been plotting with his scheming girlfriend, Sarah Atwood, to take out John after he blocked a massive land deal. Sarah hired a team of assassins to do the dirty work, leaving Jamie's hands technically clean. Now, with John gone, the development deal was back on track, threatening Yellowstone Ranch and the entire valley. Jamie might have thought he was untouchable, but the cracks in his plan were already showing. The Dutton family wasn't about to let this slide. Last week, Beth took a swing at Jamie, and this time it was Casey's turn. Storming into Jamie's office, Casey threw him across the desk, sending papers flying. The fight stopped short of outright revenge, though. Beth has made it clear that when it's time to kill Jamie, she'll be the one to do it. Meanwhile, Sarah found herself unraveling. Between the murder investigation and being ghosted by the assassins she hired, she was clearly losing control. In a desperate move, she bought a burner phone at a strip mall, storming out before even showing her ID. But her downfall came fast. While sitting at a red light talking to Jamie on the phone, she was approached by a couple in a beat-up van asking for directions. Moments later, the passenger pulled a gun and shot her. The killers, tied to the same secretive organization Sarah had hired, were now tying up loose ends. Jamie, still on the phone, was left in shock as his world came crashing down. His panicked 911 call and uncontrollable sobbing cemented his role as the show's reigning mess. With Sarah gone and the Dutton circling, it's clear Jamie's problems are only just beginning. By the looks of it, Sheridan made Sarah Atwood a clear-cut point for karma is real. The fans were somewhat relieved that Yellowstone finally exited the wrong person. But of course, the issue remains the same: the way John Dutton died and the lousy his murder was avenged. Many fans had hoped for a dramatic turn of events in the show. Maybe it would have been Beth to kill Sarah in a more terrifying way. But nope, we got some lousy seconds of an assassin. As soon as the blasted episode aired, fans took on to social media once again to mourn the loss of the good days of Yellowstone. Even then, Sheridan is telling the fans that the story is playing out how it was supposed to be. Apparently, losing out on Kevin Costner for the latter half of Season 5 made no difference because that was the original plan. Yep, no one is buying into that half-cooked narrative. But like clockwork, starring actors like Luke Grimes are holding on to the story. And let's say fans aren't exactly happy. Luke Grimes' reaction. John Dutton's heartbreaking end in Yellowstone wasn't just a shocking twist. It was part of the plan all along, according to Luke Grimes. At his Grand Ole Opry debut on November 15, 2024, Grimes opened up about Kevin Costner's character's fate, explaining that the story was always building toward the loss of the Dutton family patriarch. It was always the plan for him to go away, he said, calling it a key moment for the show to shift focus. Grimes addressed the backlash from fans after the November 10th episode where John Dutton was found dead from a gunshot wound. "I think a lot of fans feel cheated," Grimes admitted. "But I'd say we were lucky to have Kevin on the show for as long as we did. The story was always about what happens when the family loses its foundation. Can the kids hold things together?" He compared John's death to other epic stories like King Lear, The Godfather, and Succession, saying it had always been part of the show's DNA. Originally, he was supposed to die much earlier, so in a way, fans actually got more of John Dutton than they were ever going to, Grimes pointed out. The suddenness of the character's death, Grimes believes, made it more impactful. It was shocking and quick, but that's how life works, right? When you lose someone, it's rarely how or when you expect it. Grimes admitted that Costner's decision to leave after nearly 8 years left a real impact on the set. When he didn't come back, it felt like, okay, this is it. We're really bringing this story to its end now, he said. Losing the patriarch was always going to be a big part of the story. The question was, what does this family do when their rock is gone? Costner's absence was deeply felt. He's such a big presence. The guy's an icon, Grimes said. Not having him on set felt different, but we've built such a strong family on this show, it was still special, and I think fans will connect with the story just as much as before. Talking about his character, Casey Dutton, Grimes reflected on the struggle of being torn between loyalty to his family and his own life. Casey always felt like an outsider in his family, he explained, but deep down, that loyalty to them was always there, even when he knew it wasn't the best thing for him. As Yellowstone moves into its final chapters, Grimes is confident that the story will continue to resonate with fans, even without John Dutton leading the way. Yeah, not sure how that's going to pan out, but one can only hope at this point. For some fans, there's no saving grace of Yellowstone now, and Costner's reaction to his send-off has made things even worse for Sheridan. Costner reacts to his character's death. Kevin Costner isn't losing any sleep over the backlash surrounding his Yellowstone character's sudden death. The Oscar winner addressed the controversy during the 2024 Governor's Awards in Los Angeles on November 17th, where fans were still vocal about their disappointment over John Dutton's unceremonious send-off. Many had criticized showrunner Taylor Sheridan, arguing the character deserved better. "Fans have a voice in things," Costner told E! News. "They choose to follow stuff." He revealed he had offered his own ideas for John's departure in the past, but didn't go into specifics. "Who am I? What do they want? That's fine with me," he joked. Costner also weighed in shortly after the November 10th episode aired, sharing his initial reaction on SiriusXM's The Michael Smerconish program. Interestingly, the actor admitted he hadn't even realized the episode aired that night. "That's a swear-to-God moment," he said. "I've been seeing ads with my face everywhere and thinking, gee, I'm not in that one. Someone told me it played last night, and I said, okay. I found out about it this morning." When asked how he felt about John Dutton's death, Costner responded bluntly, "I didn't see it. I heard it's a suicide. That doesn't make me want to rush to go see it." Addressing the speculation that he left Yellowstone to focus on his upcoming Western film series, Horizon, Costner pushed back on rumors that he quit. "I didn't really have to leave anything behind," he explained. "There were gaps in the schedule that allowed for both projects to be done. But because both had contractual obligations, it made things difficult to align." He elaborated, "I didn't leave, I didn't quit the show. I had a contract to do all 3 seasons, but within an 8-month period, 2 new types of contracts were being negotiated, not at my request, but at theirs, to try to make things work. It just became too difficult to keep to their schedule." However, Costner did add something cheeky to his comments. He told the fans that John Dutton's alleged unaliving might just be a facade, and the showrunner would reveal the real reason for his death very soon. While it wasn't too difficult to guess a decoy, Costner's revelations did ease troubled Yellowstone fans. Imagine if John's death was a mere suicide. The show would have died right there and then. Part 2 of Season 5 is rumored to mark the end of Yellowstone, but speculation about a Season 6 focusing on Beth and Rip is growing. But the saga would have to continue without Costner. Thank you for watching.